Welcome to Tech Brothers with Amit. Today we are going to answer this question and perform a demo. Which transformation can I use in SSIS package to import image files to the table? So let's go to the table. First of all, we have to have a table where we want to load the files. So I have created this definition dbo.import files. That's the table name, and I have ID, identity column, and file name. I want to save the file name that I will read and load into the table. So it is varchar 100,000, and then I have file, and the data type of this one is called varchar binary. So if you have a big data types such as you want to save the files and there are more than 8,000 characters, and that's where you will be using varchar binary, and this can accommodate any different files, PDF or document file or image files. So now let's create this table and see if there are any records in this table. Right now it's empty. Now let's go to the SSDT or bids and create a new package, called it import let's call this one import text files or something. So I'm gonna call this one package import files, because we are importing different types of files into the SQL Server table. So I have some of the files ready for you. I have a PNG file, that's just a I capture image, and then I have a music file .m4a that's audio, and then I have .txt file, and I have some drawing file. So there are different types of files, and I want to import to the SQL Server table. Now what we need here, we need a transformation that can import these files. That's called import transformation. So that as we are talking about the import transformation, we have to have data flow, as the transformations are only available in the data flow task. So open the data flow task and go to the other transformation. In the common we do not see that transformation, so we have to go to other. So it's called import column transformation. So this is what we need to use. What it expect the full path of the file that we need to provide to this transformation, and that's how it will read the file and load to the SQL Server table. So let's start with our remove this data flow for now. To read the files from the folders, what we use for each loop container. So we want to loop through each file and get the name. So here I'm going to create a variable called folder path. Why I always create the variable? Because the value of this variable can be changed by using the configuration on different environments. So you do not have to make a change in the package. That this is a way to make your package dynamic. So I have a folder path, and it is string type. I'm going to go and grab the folder path for now and just paste it there. So let me get it here and paste and put a backslash at the end, so we do not have to write in the expressions. The next part, configuring our for each loop container so it can read each file from the folder. So here I can here's the way you can write directly hard code the values, but we are using the variable, so we will be going to expressions, and inside the expressions we have directory, and our directory is equal to this variable values. Also we have saved the folder path in the folder path variable, and that's where it is going to be. The next part is now it is going to read all files, or some files you want to only read PDF or anything. I want to read all the files, so I left asterisk dot asterisk means read any file that has any name and that has any extension. So I'm reading everything, and I want to save the file name and extension in some of the variable. So I'm going to create that variable called new variable, and I will call this one file name, and this is going to be string. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to provide a false value, just a fake value. So when I will use this variable in the expression, so I can take a look if the expressions are evaluated as true and correctly. So I'm gonna give the name my fake name of the file name for expressions, this has no meaning. You want to leave this one blank, you can leave it. I'm going to put it because when I evaluate the expression, I will show you and I want to see something in there and make sure my expressions are evaluated true. So you can put txt, test.txt, myfile.txt, anything you want to. This will be overwritten with the actual file names at the time of execution. So hit OK. Now our for each loop is going to loop through the files and give us the file name and extension on each of the iteration. Next part is that we need to read load that file to the table. We will be using data flow task, and inside the data flow task, remember I was telling you guys this transformation, what we call the import column transformation, need to have a full folder path for the file. So that's what we need to provide. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build our file name and folder path for this transformation. I'm going to call this one as var query, var SQL query. So I'm going to build a query and we'll use in the OLEDB source, and that's how we will pass the value. You will see that. So I'm var SQL query, and then we go to expressions here. You can hit F4 and that will take us to the expressions. Now we are in the expressions. Here we are going to build our query. So our query is always like select and then what we have, put the single quotes here because we are going to use that value, and then we put plus sign here and say folder path, and then we have plus sign here, so we concatenate with the file name, and then we are going to put plus sign here and then double quotes and then put a single quote. So this will be as a string as file path. The next one, a comma, what we want to do, we want to put single quotes here and then double quotes and then plus sign here. Now what we want to do, we want to build the file name, so we can put in the table the file name what we are loading. So let's create that one. Here we have, we can use the file name variable, and then we have a plus sign and then double quotes, put a single quote, so it can be used as a string as a file name, and then we put a double quotes around it. So that's the way you write your expressions here, and then you will evaluate it. And if you will evaluate it, you will see that select single quotes and then all the value, and then it has file name and then have single quotes. If I will not have a single this file name here, it will be blank and I will not be really able to see the expressions are evaluating correctly or not. So your choice, you want to put that fake name in the variable value, and in the evaluate expression it will help, or if you don't like it, you can leave that one blank as file name. And now, and my file name and then is as file name. So we are creating two columns that we are going to use in the OLEDB source. So hit OK, and now let's go to the next one, evaluate as expression. We can set it to true. So next part is bring the source. So I'm going to bring the OLEDB source here. Let's make it a little big so we can see that. Here we are going to read can make a connection to the any database. I will make a connection to the database where I'm loading these files, and so I don't have to make a couple of connections when I only need one connection. So I'm going to make a connection. This connection is not really extracting data from a table. It is just a select query, so you can use any of the connection manager. So here you will be using a SQL command from a variable that we have created in the variable. So here we need to provide the var SQL query, and if you see that this is the select query we build for the file path and for the file name. Now hit columns, and everything looks good. The next part is now we will bring the import column transformation here. So let's bring import column transformation here. Connect your OLEDB source to it. Open the import column transformation. Here you will go to the input columns and select the file path. So you're going to select the file path here that's the column where our file path is saved. Then we will be going to the input and output properties, and here we will be doing a couple of things. We will go to the output column and create a new column, so we will call it file. And once we create this column, we can call it anything, but I called it file. And this has a lineage ID, that's a unique ID for each of the column you have in the data flow. So if you have multiple data flows, and you will have unique lineage IDs according to that data flow for the column. So here we need to take this lineage ID, we will copy this lineage ID. What we are doing here, we are going to map this one to the input column. So we will go here in the input columns and file path. So we will go all the way down here and say file data column ID. So that's where we need to put. So we map the input column to the output column here, and then we will hit OK. The next part, what we need to do, we need to load this one into the SQL Server destination. So we have OLEDB destination, that's what I can use. I'm going to connect import column transformation to OLEDB destination, and then double click here, select my table. So I have import files here, so that's where I'm selected. Now go to the mapping and map that. As our names were pretty much in same, I had the file name in the starting, so it has mapped automatically, and we had created the file column in the import column transformation, so it mapped automatically as well. So if in case your names will be different, you have to kind of do manually here, map them, and that's how you can do it. Hit OK. Now we are all set to run our SSIS package and load the files into the SQL Server Table. Let's run our SSIS package. So you see that it was blinking 3-4 times, and it loaded each of the file. Let's go back to the table and take a look. So now we run this select query and see the file names are loaded correctly to the file name column, and the files itself are loaded into the file column. So that's a var binary, so that's how you will see. You will not see anything image or text or PDF here. You will see all those hexadecimal numbers here, and that's how they will be saved in the SQL Server Table. And on the source side, you can see that these files are still sitting there. If I will be you and I need to create this package, at the end of the package, I will use the file system task and move these files to some archive folder. So I do not have to reload the same file over and over. So after loading these files, I will move these files to archive folder, put the timestamp to them. I have a video that shows you how to archive files with the date, time to different folders. So take a look. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I will see you in next video.